Death is the one constant that defines life, the inevitable end that gives meaning to our existence. But what if death simply ceased to exist? No aging, no final rest, just an endless continuation of consciousness. It might sound like a dream come true, but the reality could be far more terrifying than anything we've ever imagined. In a world without death, aging might stop entirely. Imagine reaching a certain age and then remaining in that state forever. No wrinkles, no physical decline. It seems like a blessing, doesn't it? But what happens when time stretches on and you remain trapped in the same body, year after year, century after century? Our bodies might remain the same, but our minds would continue to accumulate memories, traumas, and experiences. What would it be like to carry the weight of 1,000 years of life? How would we cope with the endless passage of time? With no one ever dying, the planet would quickly become overpopulated. Cities would swell with people, straining resources to the breaking point. Food, water, and shelter would become scarce, and the fight for survival would take on a whole new meaning. How would we feed billions of people who never age, never die, but continue to need sustenance? The rich might hoard what little remains, while the poor are left to fend for themselves in a world where survival is no longer about living, but about enduring an endless existence. Part 3. The breakdown of society. As the world becomes more crowded and resources dwindle, society itself would begin to fracture. Governments, unable to manage the immortal population, might collapse under the weight of unrest and anarchy. Law and order would break down, and civilization as we know it would descend into chaos. In a world where death is no longer a release, people might turn to violence and despair. Suicide, once seen as a tragic escape, would no longer be an option. Trapped in a body that refuses to die, individuals might go mad from the sheer weight of their existence. Part 4. The curse of eternal life. Eternal life might seem like a gift, but in reality it could be a curse. The joy of life comes from its fleeting nature, the knowledge that every moment is precious because it could be your last. But in a world without death, that meaning would be lost. Relationships would grow stale, ambitions would fade, and the weight of eternity would press down on every soul. The novelty of life would wear off, leaving only a hollow existence. Imagine living through the rise and fall of countless civilizations, watching loved ones grow distant as the centuries pass. In time, even the most joyful experiences would lose their luster, leaving behind only a sense of emptiness. Part 5. The endless search for escape. In such a world, the search for escape would become a desperate obsession. People might turn to extreme measures, experiments, rituals, anything to break free from the prison of eternal life. But with no death, even the most dangerous attempts would fail, leaving behind only suffering and despair. The pursuit of an end would drive people to the brink of madness. And in a world where no one can die, the ultimate horror would be the knowledge that there is no escape, no way out of an existence that has lost all meaning. Conclusion. Immortality might seem like the ultimate dream, but in reality it could be a nightmare beyond imagination. Without death, life loses its meaning and the world becomes a prison from which there is no escape. Perhaps in the end it's the finite nature of life that gives it its beauty. What if there is no death?